Welcome back to another episode of Arrakis Central. Please remember to like and subscribe if you like this content. In today's episode, we're going to discuss the Holtzman effect and particularly the Holtzman shields, which are seen in the movies. The history of the Holtzman shield is very interesting. It's stemming all the way back pre the events of the Balerian Jihad. The shield derives from the Holtzman effect, which was discovered by Theo Holtzman. The Holtzman effect provides Holtzman waves, Holtzman shields, which we will talk about, subatomic fusion, suspensors, which we've seen in some of the films where it looks like they have anti-gravity devices, such as with Sardaukar and the Baron Harkonnen, the glow globes, which you see floating around in some of the films, and then, of course, the jump drive, the Holtzman engine. So the shields in the films and in the book, the Holtzman shield, which we've seen, produces a two-dimensional effect that is an adjustable plane of force that repels fast-moving projectiles, meaning that it renders traditional ballistic weapons, bullets, missiles, shrapnel, rockets, anything like that, basically useless against it. So these shields will be used primarily and extensively during the events of the Balerian Jihad, the war against the AI thinking machines, as expert sword masters would go up against the robot killing machines using a combination of shields and swords and blades in order to defeat them. It was also during these events that they discovered that shields would react very poorly or catastrophically if hit by energy weapons. But this would cause such a great chain reaction if used on a shield that it destroys the attacker as well. So utterly making the use of energy weapons useless against shielded opponents. Well, this also explains in the films and in the books why they use swords against each other, due to the fact that enemies are always wearing shields. Your ballistic weapons will be useless. You can't use lasers against them in close proximity. So you have to use different type of cutting weapons and blunt weapons against each other. And this is shown pretty well in the films, as the swords will be deflected unless you move slowly, and it is actually expressed in the film. The slow blade penetrates the shield. Another aspect to the shields that is mentioned in the 2021 film particularly is that you can have your vehicles, particularly your spice harvesters, shielded, as shields also not only you cannot shoot lasers against them, but the shields also drive the great sandworms into fury, and immediately they'll come attack you if you use shields in the desert. So that is actually an added defense to the Fremen, which they know that happens actually. And this would be used as a defense later on during the events of the Dune book. I do find that an interesting aspect to how dangerous the planet Arrakis is, as it's a hot planet, you have to conserve water, and then you can't even use most of the technologies that you normally rely on. It makes for a very dangerous world, which is why Arrakis is rated one of the most dangerous planets to live on. And one final point, specifically from the book. In the book, when Duncan Idaho finally finds Paul, Jessica in the desert, Paul goes on to notice that there's laser fire and activity over the ridgeline because the Harkonnens are actively hunting for them still. And then Duncan lets him know that he set a trap. And the specific trap is he set a decoy shield. And then they fire laser weapons at it, causing the chain reaction against that shield. And it basically destroys those immediate units looking for him. And Duncan's very, very happy with himself for that, which is a very good part of the book. I find that the movie doesn't have that scene, the newest movie, and I think that would have been a good scene to have in the film, but time constraints or whatever reason they didn't put that in there. But in closing for this video, we know that the shields play an important part in the molding of the type of warfare that they fight in this era with swords and shields, and that you can't use laser weapons, which is the main point. And I do wonder if the Dune Part 2 2024 film will show the implications of that, because they did not really show that in the last film. So hopefully we'll see that. But if you do like this content and this channel, make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode. I'm trying to knock out these videos at least one every 2 to 3 days, so stay tuned for more. Thank you.